Welcome to our weekly cord cutting Q&A. This week I'm being joined by Jess here to answer all of your cord cutting related questions. As always, if you are watching this on replay later on, make sure to join us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live for roughly an hour or so. We answer your cord cutting related questions. So don't be afraid to join us. And if you missed us, visit our cord cutting tech support group over on Facebook. I'll put a link to it down below. There's over 50,000 cord cutters that do nothing but answer cord cutting related questions. So if you have a question, make sure to join the group. How you doing today, Jess?
I'm good. I am having so many issues trying to get my setup working over here, so don't mind me while I'm messing with my iPad and things.
Yeah, I am. I'm at the office. Had to be gone part of the day, so I'm doing it from the office today, and it has not necessarily been smooth today. So
That's an understatement.
But, you know, that's the reality of computers and internet and just trying to stay on top of everything. So here we go. Get in the live stream. Let's share this on Facebook. Put it on the site. Do all that fun and stuff. Any interesting news today that really stood out to you, Jess, as I do all this real quick?
Let's see. I just wrote a really interesting post for tomorrow, about Comcast.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on. Comcast deleted Cinemax from some of their packages.
Yeah, and they didn't change the price, right?
I don't think that they made any price changes, except that if you want Cinemax now, you have to add it as an a la carte add-on, and that's another, I think it was $12 or $12.99 a month.
Yeah, this is one of Comcast's higher packages where basically they used to allow you to have Cinemax included. Now you have to pay extra to get the same thing. Have to love cable companies. But, all right, so it's shared off on Facebook and Twitter, so people should be joining us. And let's take a look who's here. Well, Tom, Johnny, Clark, Edward. Wow, just scrolled real quick. I apologize if I missed a bunch of people. NYC, Robert.
NYC, I am making my debut.
Yeah. So Jess is joining us today so that in the future, when I am not able to do it, hopefully if her schedule also works, Jess will be taking over some of the Q&As. I'll still be doing most of them, but when I got some vacation time coming up, she'll be jumping on that. How am I doing tonight, Mark? It is actually a beautiful day. I'm hoping to get out of here and get home before the storms start. It's going to be a close one, but I think we're going to make it happen. Larry asks, when will NBC News Now be ready to load? From my understanding is it should be ready right now. If you load in your NBC News app, in there should be a new live feed called NBC News Now, which according to NBC will air live from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Or actually 7 days a week, right, Jess?
I think it was 7 days a week, yeah. And I noticed some of our readers were commenting on the Facebook group that they aren't seeing it yet. So I don't know if it's a slow rollout or what the deal is. Maybe people have to update. I'm not sure.
I just checked the NBC News Now website, and yes, it is live right now on NBCnews.com/now. So maybe there's some apps are not updated, is very possible as a issue here. Chris, if it's not on your app, first check to see if there's an update for the NBC News app. You could do that in the Fire TV and Roku by running an update on the device Fire TV and Roku. You run a system update to see if there's a new app there. But I just put a link to it in the show notes down below. Yeah, Robert says he is watching it now. Robert, what device did you watch it? Did you watch it on their website? Was it on Roku? Was it on a Fire TV?
Roku.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing people on the Facebook page saying, that they were using a Roku and it wasn't working. So I'm not sure what the problem was there.
Yeah, maybe just it needs to be updated. That's often. You know, Roku's update when you're not using it, often in the middle of the night. But again, if you go into systems and in the settings, in there will be an update option where you can go update your device. I just realized we're running on a really big delay. I'm running on a higher res.
I'm watching over here and it's weird.
So there is maybe I'll look at better high quality. Probably not because I'm using a Logitech one. But there's a balance. Often people ask me why our live streams look fuzzier than our pre-recorded content, and that's because you can have really high quality live streams, but then the delay is bigger. You can have like almost no delay from when you chat to when we talk, that it may look fuzzy though. So we try to set somewhere in the middle and go from there. So just if we seem a little bit delayed today where we're not answering your question right away, that's what's happening. I'll fix that. I'm in the office, not in the home setup. We usually don't do live broadcasts from here. Edward
always
asked,
an adventure being on Skype and YouTube.
It's all those fun things. Here's one for you, Jess. Edward asks, are all private channels piracy, or are all private channels on Roku questionable per Core Cars News? I would say not all, but what's that old saying we always talk about when it comes to this stuff, Jess?
Yeah, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So if you're getting thousands of channels for free each month, it's probably not legal.
Duff asks, with some of the Olympic channels in 2020 being broadcast in 8K, will ATS 3.0 be able to broadcast 8K? From my understanding, 4K is the standard there. And this is probably like the last Olympics, where they said 4K Olympics. I don't know if it was the first one. And it really came down to we got 2 events in 4K and everything else was in HD.
Yeah, I would say don't hold your breath on that one.
Yeah, so I would expect, again, in 2020, we may get 1 or 2 events in 8K, but a vast majority of them will be in 4K.
Yeah.
And I have heard that 3.0 will be upgradable. I'm not sure if it's ever going to be upgradable to the point where 8K will be available. Jeff says, my biggest frustration with Hulu Live is that the half-second buffering stopping and starting constantly with live feeds on an Apple with a 200 megabyte down. A few things about that. You may be paying for that. You're at your router, you may be getting 200 down. But where your Apple TV is, if the Wi-Fi is weak, that's what often causes it. Weak Wi-Fi will give you dramatically lower speeds, which causes that issue. Jess, why don't you take the Tyler question about the Apple TV?
Will the Apple TV app ever come to Fire TV? Yes. I think that's the plan, isn't it?
At some point this year. We don't know when. Also Roku. So why don't we do every other? I'll answer and then you grab a question.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Is the AT&T dispute with A&E over now? Haven't heard anything in a month. We reached out to AT&T right when A&E networks were supposed to go dark in DirecTV Now and all AT&T properties, and AT&T said that they reached a deal that as discussions continued, negotiations continued, they would keep the A&E networks. But later on, a couple weeks went by, the website for A&E, that was basically a keep our A&E kind of website, vanished. I reached out to them, and I was told that they would get back to us at a later date. We've never heard. All signs point to that, yes, they have reached some type of deal there to keep A&E networks on AT&T, but for some reason, neither AT&T or A&E has announced that deal.
Let's see. With Fire Stick prices being low, and I'm a primarily Roku user, my question is there value in owning both Roku and Fire Stick? I've been debating. That's a good question, Oliver. I would say the two are so similar. We actually just talked about this on the podcast this morning. I would say that they're so similar that no, there's not a point in having both, especially with YouTube coming back to Fire TV. I would say you are good either way. If you're a Roku fan, go for it. Use Roku.
Yeah, I really, at this point, I almost don't think you'll be missing anything once the YouTube returns to the Fire TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's a really cheap deal, it doesn't hurt to have a backup streaming player, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I actually have a smart TV with Fire TV built in and a Roku, and that's been working out really well.
I got over 50 of them in the office behind this wall. Anybody? No, we need all of them. They're all review units, but we have our fair share. Mm-hmm. Do I see Viacom channels come to Hulu? Could it happen? Sure. Viacom 2 years ago pulled their content from Hulu and basically said, we want our content on cable. We want to promote cable. We don't want to be promoting streaming services. Well, amazingly, their tone has changed in 2019, and suddenly they are very aggressively promoting streaming again. So I find it very funny that that's happening. So it's very possible that they'll come back to Hulu and be added to Hulu Live TV. I know some Viacom content is on Hulu, but the vast majority of it still is not like it used to be. And that could change. The problem with wanting this is always remember is the more content they add, the higher that price is going to go. So there is somewhat of a balance there with that.
Yeah, and the Viacom channels are expensive from what we understand.
So they are surprisingly expensive, especially considering they don't really offer a lot of live content. Like even TNT can push it. They have a lot of sports and now wrestling coming back. So yeah.
Willie asks, is Logic Stream TV good or is it a bootleg? I don't know about Logic Stream. Do you know, Luke?
Haven't heard of it, but if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. All
Looks
right.
like the storm is coming in heavy here in Waco. My friend lives in Allen, Texas. She just sent me a Snapchat. It looks crazy there. So if you're in Texas, please be careful.
Yeah, I'm a little south of Waco. That's actually where the TV stations are here. Let me go look at the radar real quick. I know, fortunately, we're not under any tornado warnings, but I'm not looking forward to driving through.
No, please be careful.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad. It looks like most of the rain's north of us still. Hello, No Life. Good to have you back. NYC says, I could see the Paramount Network return to Hulu. It very well could happen. I mean, there's nothing stopping Hulu from adding more channels. I just always caution people, especially when it's stuff like Paramount Network, a lot of this pre-recorded content that you want added, it raises the cost of your service. If you're looking, let's say you like the Paramount because you like Bar Rescue and you really want Bar Rescue, you may want to consider buying a season pass to Bar Rescue because season pass to Bar Rescue is a heck of a lot cheaper than paying every single month for Hulu with live TV just to watch one show. So keep that in mind, that the more content you add, the higher that cost is going to go. And that goes too for really anything. If you're paying for a higher TV package to get one channel to watch one or two shows, you may really want to think about dropping that add-on or downgrading your package to get a season pass on iTunes or a season pass on Amazon to watch it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something I never think about. I always just look for the channels that I know I want, but a season pass is sometimes a really good idea. We do that here actually with the new season of Doctor Who because we couldn't find it on a service that we wanted.
And now you own it, right? You can always go back have your Doctor Who marathon whenever you want it.
Yeah, exactly.
For a lot of people have been asking, when is this channel going to come, or when's YouTube TV coming to the Fire TV, or when's Apple TV coming to Roku, etc. We don't know, unfortunately. As soon as we hear anything, we'll post about it. But unfortunately, Apple has not announced when Apple TV is coming to Roku and the Fire TV. And all we know is sometime this year, YouTube TV will be coming, and YouTube will be coming back to the Fire TV. So that's all we know.
Yep. Janine asked, thoughts on Locast? We love Locast. We talk about it as much as we can. There's not a whole lot of news about it, but it is free local live TV. And they're only in a few select markets right now, but they're always adding more. So if you have it in your area, awesome, highly recommend it. If not, you can go on and vote for your location. And as more people vote, that's how they decide the next city that they're going into. So right now, I think San Diego might be the leader for those cities.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Locast is a nonprofit. If you really like it, consider donating, because they've been pretty aggressively saying, we need funding. I think they kind of expected to be sued by now, and this would be a legal challenge to the status quo.
But according to my research, completely legal and not in danger right now.
It is, but they're definitely using a loophole, and even the founders kind of said, hey, come sue me, because I'm doing this to prove that those limitations that prevent us from doing this kind of thing isn't a legit. So far, no one seemed to be interested in engaging him on that, though.
Edward said, I hope Locast comes to Tampa. Yeah, definitely go to the website and vote. Tampa is not even on the list of top 5 right now, so go vote and get it on there.
Yep. All right, Locast is a doo-doo. I was looking at my emails. I have a Roku. Yeah, busy day. I'm running behind today, I won't lie. I have a Roku TCL 6 series 55-inch TV. My TV keeps shutting off at random times. I don't know if it's the TV getting hot. I checked the settings. Everything is disabled. Do you have a prankster in your home that's using the Roku app to turn it off on you? Maybe your first question. you may want to try maybe disabling the remote access where people can access it through the app, which if you Google that, how to disable Roku's app control of a Roku, you'll find a way to do that. The other thing is if that continues, I would contact TCL. They have a very good customer service. I've heard from several people who have had issues that TCL has taken good care of them and taken care of that. I had most often when I've talked to people who have had weird things like their TVs randomly shutting off, when we track it down, it's typically somebody using the Roku app to just take over the TV and turn the TV off and adjust the volume and change the channel and doing all those fun prank things that we love to do as kids. So I would first try disabling the app if you have somebody else in the house who may remotely be kind of a jerk, just to be honest with it.
Kids are jerks. That's the role of the story here.
Not that I would ever discover that the upstairs TV remote could also control the downstairs TV remote and play, and you could do it from the kitchen of our house to my brother. I would never have done that to my brother growing up as a kid.
Ever.
Luke, will the NBA broadcast be broadcast in 4K anywhere? No, I do not believe ABC has broadcast anything in 4K yet, and to my knowledge, it will not be broadcast in 4K this year. From my knowledge, the World Cup, the Women's World Cup that starts here in about a week or so next month, will be every single game will be broadcast in 4K over on Fubo TV though.
Hope Locast comes to Sacramento. Carl, if you want it in your area, definitely go to the website and vote. I think Sacramento's on the list, so your vote might help.
Luke, have you heard anything about the ACC network coming in August? Yes, so we have a post up a while back that ACC network will be coming to PlayStation Vue and Hulu. Those are the two that have been announced so far. Of course, we're still a couple months out. It's very likely they'll come to other live TV streaming services either before launch, we may hear, or after launch. Typically, a lot of services don't announce what they're going to add until they do it, because then they start getting tons of emails like, hey, you announced it, why isn't it live?
Mm-hmm.
ACC network doesn't launch until August. If we learn more, if we learn more details, we will be posting about it.
John says, we got a letter from Comcast stating that their on-demand content will no longer work with any TiVo set-top boxes because of their relationship with TiVo ending. I have not heard about this. Have you heard anything?
Yeah, I actually have heard about this. So TiVo is suing Comcast for patent infringement, basically saying Comcast is not licensing patents they should. This thing's been going on for years at least. It's been going on. But once again, TiVo and Comcast are... Big shock, right? They're fighting it out. And it's all over patents.
Yeah, Comcast fighting. Crazy.
Yeah. It's all over patents, and it seems like Comcast is firing back at TiVo, saying, well, if you're going to be suing us for saying we're not giving you patents, that we're cutting off the on-demand. I'm sure there's a lot more to this overly generalistic coverage here. We don't know what's really happening in the back rooms and the negotiations here, but there is... I'm not sure if it's a lawsuit or a complaint being filed. There's legal actions happening, and there's lawsuits and there's legal complaints to the federal government and other things that can happen. I'm not sure at which step this process is in, but Comcast and TiVo are fighting. Interesting that they send out a letter if there's legal stuff happening. Yeah, I'll give it to Comcast. At least they're informing them. So many of these services are like, oh, we're a splash screen will come up. Oh, we're sorry to inform you we've disabled your on-demand last night. Or, Sony did that when they dropped what was it, Sinclair locals. They just sent an email like 9. I think it was 9 p.m. my time local, 8 p.m. something like that. It was like, tonight, your locals will be dropped if you live in a Sinclair market, and your DVR recordings will be wiped. And it's like, oh, well, I'm glad I know that now. Yeah. And if I missed that email, woke up, suddenly all my DVR recordings from my local station were gone. I would have been very upset about that. Yep. My YouTube asked, when is YouTube TV coming to Fire Stick? Again, we don't have an exact date. We know it's happening sometime this year, but we do not know for sure when. When does Vizio SmartCast 3.0 software come out? We don't know. They've announced it. It's basically an update to their smart TV OSs, which I believe that will include the update to include AirPlay 2 support. Don't quote me on that. AirPlay 2 is coming to Vizio sometime this year, maybe next year if things get delayed. But we don't know when. A lot of times, here's the problem with a lot of these things, especially when it involves like Vizio working with Apple, is it's kind of completely out of Vizio's control, and it's kind of completely out of Apple's control. Because Apple needs to wait for Vizio to be ready, and Vizio needs to wait for Apple to be ready. So in reality, it's, sometimes when I talk to these companies, they're like, hey, we figured out we're ready to go this morning, and we put it live today. Hulu is very notorious for that. They'll be like, hey, we literally struck the deal to add this content last night, and today we're announcing the deal. So often, it's kind of out of the control of the two companies.
Let's see. Oh, Karen was answering Mike. Mike was asking about having his Roku menu being too cluttered. There were too many apps on the main menu. Yeah, you can customize that, right? If you go into the settings, you can decide what shows up on your main screen.
If you remove the one, you can do that, but you can organize it. And what I do, because I have over 100 Roku channels on my home screen, because we test all of them, is I put the ones I actually use at the very top. Mm-hmm. And then put all the other, let all the other ones fall down to the bottom. So the 5 or 6, the Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and then some of the free ones like Pluto, etc. I'll put right at the top, and then all the other ones I just leave at the bottom. So that's what I would recommend doing.
Mike, that's what we would tell you to do, is just kind of rearrange so that what you want is at the top, and you can just kind of ignore the rest or delete apps that you don't use.
So, question. I see a lot of new faces. Welcome. It's great to have so many people here. Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're live on YouTube answering your cord cutting related questions. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell if you are a subscriber so you don't miss any of our videos. We do daily news videos, reviews, how-tos, weekly podcasts, and more. So hit that subscribe button. But since we got so many new people, I'd love to know, how much money are you saving every month with cord cutting? When my wife and I cut the cord, we saved over $100 a month. I'd love to hear how much you are saving. So while you do that, let's jump back into it.
G says that he saved a bunch of money. Good. Yeah. Glad to hear.
There you go. What internet would I recommend to save money? That's the problem, is where do you live is one of those big questions. And I probably don't know all the internet providers where you live. But here's a few quick points on how to save money with home internet. Number 1, shop around. For instance, if you have AT&T, look at AT&T resellers like DSL Extreme and Toast.net. Play internet services against each other. For instance, if you have if you have DSL and cable, and you're using cable, call the DSL provider, even if you don't intend to run, or if you don't even intend to switch them, know what they're charging for what speed, and then call your cable provider and say, hey, cable company, your DSL competitor is offering me $39 a month for $100 down or something. And then watch them match that. You'd be amazed. Now, it doesn't always work, but I find more often than not it does work, which is a pretty good deal. So shop around, know the competitors, do your research, and see which one is right for you. All right, here's a quick question I'm going to answer, and it's about IPTV services. Is it legal to own them? So most services that call themselves IPTV, not all, but most are probably too good to be true, just to be honest with you. And is it legal for you to use them? In theory, yes, you could face copyright complaints. We all remember the cases targeting BitTorrents and all that. It's not necessarily a legal thing as much as it is a civil infraction. So in theory, they could go after you. And people argue, well, you're streaming it, you're not downloading it. That so far has not held up in court when it comes to things like Set TV got caught up in that recently and lost. And a major Set TV reseller, one of those people who use their commission system to sell it, just agreed to pay $2 million in damages to Dish. So in theory, you could theoretically face trouble there. Now, it hasn't happened. I wouldn't even be all that concerned about that. What I would be concerned about is handing my credit card number, my debit card number, over to other people who I don't know what they're going to do with that or where that's going to end up. And also, we often hear from people, almost monthly, we get a couple emails like this. I prepaid for XYZ service. Now it's gone. I paid for a full year. I've only used 3 weeks. Can I get my money back? And we're kind of like, hey, we have nothing to do with that. Unfortunately, they probably got a cease and desist letter and decided to skip town with the money. That's happened before. So just be careful. And the problem with using VPNs is you're giving them your credit card information. So if they ever get raided, they just pull up that credit card file. They have to have that credit card details there. They go, oh, John Smith paid with a credit card using da-da-da. Well, let's call that bank and figure out who John Smith is. There you go. Now they know your home address, everything. They can just get a subpoena to get the bank to hand over that information. Again, not really something that will likely happen. Could happen. What is more likely to happen is you pay and they take off with it, or you give them your credit card and who knows what they do with that credit card. So just be careful out there is my biggest thing with this. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're all adults here. You make your own decisions. But just don't complain to us if something bad happens.
Yeah, it's always surprising to me how many emails every day we get saying, I'm so angry, delete this, and I want my money back. And we're like, that's not what we do, sorry.
Sorry, wrong place.
Yeah, wrong number, try again.
How do you calculate your cord-cutting savings? I always calculate that over my total TV and internet bill versus what I'm saving now. And just keep, that's how we did it. So we were paying for internet and TV separate because we were paying for DirecTV when we canceled. We were paying $110 for just DirecTV when we canceled. Now, we had already been paying for Netflix for the TV. We had already been paying for Amazon for the free shipping, and the movies and TV shows were just a bonus. So anything we added on top of that. And that's one of the big things I would say is count your total bill. So if you're paying for Netflix already, if you're paying for Amazon already, I would include that in your cable bill as well, and then figure it out from there.
Let's see. Rashid says, hey everybody, tomorrow will be my 1-year anniversary of cutting the cord. Hey, congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Welcome to the Cord Cutting family.
And it's great. Good job, guys. Yeah, definitely. Roku Express is a great streaming device, so glad you're happy with it.
So, Jess, you have a Fire TV Edition Smart TV, right?
I do, yeah. I have an Insignia that I got from Best Buy on Black Friday. I got a great deal.
Perfect. I have the older Element version of it, but there's a question here about those. Why don't you take this from Colin?
Colin says, Luke or Jess, what do you think of the Fire Edition TVs? I like mine. I got one of the least expensive options because truly I was just looking for an inexpensive TV. I knew that I had different streaming devices I could use with it, so I wasn't super concerned about how well the streaming was with it. I knew I wanted something with either Roku or Fire built in, and that was kind of like a cheap but quality option for me. I'm happy with mine. I have had some problems with it. I've had it sort of, whenever I'm watching Hulu specifically, I've had it just shut out of Hulu completely in the middle of a show. So that was a problem. Usually just like turning off and turning on the TV again solved the problem, but it was a little annoying. I have found since I hooked up my Roku to the TV that I have not had any problems using a Roku. So I'm not sure if it was like a Hulu issue, if it was a TV issue. But overall, yeah, I'm happy with mine. So I would recommend it.
Yeah, I've been overall happy with my Fire TV Edition Smart TV. It's definitely, the quality is not quite up to TCL TV standards, I would say, but it's a very good TV. I do love the integration of the antenna into it. I think it does a really good job of that. It's a Fire TV. If you love a Fire TV, it really does do a good job. So overall, I think it's a very good TV. I'm really hoping they come up with a next generation where they take the quality of the TV to the next level. Yeah. That'll be my only feedback.
Colin, I think mine is just HD. It's not 4K.
Well, real quick before we get back to any news or answering questions and stuff, we have a giveaway happening. I'll just put a link in the show notes. That'll tell you how far behind we are in the live stream right now because I just put it in the show notes. That we're giving away a Fire TV Recast DVR for your antenna, a Fire TV Stick 4K, and a $100 Netflix gift card right now. This is a great giveaway. It's available to everybody living in the United States. And I'll put a link to it in the show notes. There's all kinds of ways to enter. All the rules are in the link I just put in the show notes. But you can right now go there and do things like follow us on Twitter, tweet a message, visit our Facebook page, download our mobile app, leave a comment on the post, etc. to enter the giveaway. Just make sure you enter the giveaway through the giveaway block in the post to do that. If you just go to twitter.com and follow us there, it doesn't count unless you do it through the giveaway block. If you don't see the giveaway block, turn off your ad blocker and it'll pop right up. So I'll put a link to that if you want a chance to be entered to win a Fire TV Recast, a Fire TV 4K stick, and a $100 Netflix gift card. Check that out. Real quick, we're also going to play a quick 30 second ad here as Jess fixes her camera.
Sorry.
Real quick, some people will see that, some won't, but it helps pay the bills so we can all support our families. And for everybody else who is not seeing the ad, because I don't understand how YouTube decides who sees the ad and who doesn't, because I just don't know. It's really weird. But we do have a mobile app also. If you want to, when we do our videos here on YouTube and do the podcast, it's only some of the biggest stories from the past week. I put another link in there that includes all of the, or includes a link to download our mobile app to iOS, Android, and Amazon Fire tablets, where you can get a reduced ad capacity there by using the mobile app. So check that out. So welcome back, everybody who was viewing the ad. Thanks for watching that. It really does help. So cool. Jess, is it your turn or my turn? I can't remember.
I don't know. Let me see if I can find one that I think I can answer.
You look and I'll grab one real quick. Phil says, will there ever be a web browser on Roku? Roku has actually specifically blocked any or any developer from making a web browser for Roku. For some reason, Roku doesn't want it there. Some of that may have to do with they've had legal issues in Mexico where, because some of the private channels not included in the official Roku channel store were piracy, Roku for a short amount of time was banned in the entire country of Mexico. They couldn't sell any Roku products.
Wow.
And they had to go through a lot of hoops to get back into the country. And it took most of a year, I want to say. It was quite a few months. And so I think some of the reason why you can't get a web browser is the fact that there is they're worried about piracy a lot on there.
I'm just going through some comments and looking at how much people saved. Some people are saving hundreds of dollars. This is crazy. Tom Barnes, love your last name, was paying Spectrum $165 a year and a half ago. Now I have Hulu, CBS All Access, and YouTube paying $70. Yeah, that's awesome. You're saving almost $100. That is awesome. I'm really happy to hear it.
All right. Edward says 200 people watching, 34 likes. Yeah, hit the like button. You know, here's the great thing. If you ever want to support a YouTuber and you don't care to actually donate to them, which I get it. You watch the videos, you see the ads. That's all I ask. But if you ever really like them, you want to help them, just randomly like one of their videos. I've kind of gotten a habit of hitting like on all the videos I watch just because I'm a creator. But YouTube really does take that into consideration. So check that out. Will Philo ever be adding CNN or MSNBC? Probably not, because to add CNN or MSNBC would mean that they would also need to add the ability to carry all the Time Warner or all the NBC Universal content. Actually, I should say Warner Media content now. It's no longer called Time Warner. And that would force Philo to raise the price a lot. B, that would include sports channels. And Philo's kind of made a name for themselves by being a low-cost service for people who really aren't big news fans or really are not big into sports. So to have to take on NBC News, to have to take on TNT and CNN and all that would dramatically raise the price of Philo. Now, one of the things I will say is NBC News for just today launched NBC News Now, which combines talent from MSNBC and NBC teams into one, and they air for free live between 3 p.m. and 11 p.m. 7 days a week, from my understanding. CNN's, while not live, does offer a bunch of curated content for free on Pluto TV. So you may want to see if those two options will work for you. Now, of course, you're not going to get the Rachel Maddow show from MSNBC free on NBC News Now. You may get a clip of it. So there are trade-offs there. Of course, if you want CNN or MSNBC, you could always get Sling TV's very basic package to add those kind of things on there.
Tony says he has seen a lot of unhappy customers of DirecTV Now on Twitter complaining about streaming and DVR issues. Is this a geographical or streaming player issue? I've had great luck with the Apple TV. We've had a lot of people, especially recently, just in the last few days, on the Facebook page and in emails, talking about having problems with DirecTV Now. I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of Roku, but then again, a lot of our readers use a Roku, so that might just be a numbers game. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's geographical specifically or if it's a streaming player. It seems like it's kind of just all around, but I'm glad you're having good luck with it on Apple.
Yeah, I have definitely heard some complaints about it, but it seems to be very sporadic.
Yeah.
Now, the number of complaints has recently skyrocketed. It does seem like DirecTV Now has been having issues, and I'm trying to, we're trying to do some digging into that. Here's a question on a product I reviewed years and years ago, the Mission Cable USB cable for the Fire TV, Roku, etc. It's a little USB cable that's specifically meant to power off TV. They advertise that it will do some cool things that will, if your TV typically doesn't give off enough power to power your Fire TV or your Roku stick from the USB and the TV, they claim it will. I used to use one on my Roku stick for for my TV, and it worked. I had no problems with it. I will say I haven't really played around with the Fire TV, but I will say 99% of the TVs I use, where I just plug in my Roku stick directly into the USB port on the TV or my Fire TV stick, works without problems. Even if it gives me like a temporary low power warning, it then boots up and works fine. So that is one option. Of course, like the Roku Stick Plus comes with an extended USB cable extender, so I can plug it into the wall there. That may be something you want to consider if you're having problems with power. But the Mission cable, the one I had, worked fine. But that's been years now.
NYC says the really cool thing about some streaming services is some of them have yearly plans. I recently switched to yearly on Funimation, Hotstar, and Boomerang, definitely doing it for Disney Plus. I think that's a really good point. We talk a lot about the monthly subscriptions. A lot of these services will have annual subscriptions, and you can get a discount if you do that, which brings your monthly cost down. That's awesome. I agree with you. I think I'll probably do yearly for Disney Plus. I know it's something I definitely want, and I think it's going to have a lot of great content, and I think they're going to roll that out slowly throughout that first year. So I think I'll definitely do an annual plan with Disney. So yeah, really good point, NYC. Thank you.
Robert says June will be 2 years since he cut the cord, and he's saving $120 a month. He started off with Sling TV. Well, congratulations. Before you know it, you'll have a good down payment on a car at that rate. Yeah, go ahead.
Robert also said we suspended DirecTV for 6 months to see if we let cord cutting first. That's another really good point. You're not committed, and I think that's something that I really like. Maybe I have commitment issues, who knows. With cord cutting, you can just really kind of try things out. So if you can end your cable subscription and then take some time to do free trials, my favorite thing, and really just get a feel for whether or not you like cord cutting, which services specifically you like, it's a great way to introduce yourself to it. And if it really comes down to it and you don't like streaming, fine, like go get your cable subscription again. That's totally okay.
You know, two things on that. My wife and I, when we cut the cord, we actually unplugged the cable box for a month. We're like, we're going to try this for a month. And if this doesn't work out, we're just plugging in that cable box again.
Sure.
But the great thing is if you do cancel, you try it out for a few months, you don't like it, and you want to go back, they're probably going to give you a better rate than if you were a current customer. Most frustrating thing about cable TV is like, hey, I have been a model customer. I have perfect credit. I have never missed a payment. I do all this. But that new customer who shows up with really bad credit, who doesn't set up the auto bill pay, whatever, is getting a better deal than I am. And that's one of the most frustrating things about cable TV. So just keep that in mind. They will always welcome you back to cable TV if you decide cord cutting's not right for you.
Yep.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Here's one I want to answer real quick. Is Cheddar owned by BuzzFeed? No, but I do think they do some stuff with BuzzFeed. Don't count me on that. Cheddar is actually now owned by Atlas, a cable company, or I'm probably butchering the name of that cable company. But they were just purchased about a month ago in the last few weeks. And it's kind of funny because Cheddar always kind of advertises itself as the next gen, post-cable world TV. But they're now owned by a cable company. So interesting. Congratulations to the team at Cheddar. I've had a chance to talk with them in the past. Really nice people. They worked their butts off to build Cheddar. So I'm very excited to see that they're getting a little payday on that. And congratulations to everybody at Cheddar.
I was going to answer the same one actually. I was just going to say I didn't know about who they were owned by, but I feel like on BuzzFeed, which I read pretty frequently, I think I've seen some promotional posts from Cheddar, so it might just be that they're sponsoring posts on BuzzFeed. That might be where you got that idea from.
Yeah. Atlas One, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, is the cable company, which is one of those mid-sized ones that I've never had the privilege of ever working with, even though I've lived all over the country. But yeah, it looks like they and many others are trying to diversify themselves into the world of streaming.
Small Tube says, I'm in the trial part right now, barely using DirecTV. So you're trying out different trials of streaming services. Am I understanding that right? If so, awesome. I'm excited to hear about which ones you're trying out. I love free trials. I talk about them constantly. I think it's just a really good opportunity to try a ton of different things and see what works best for you.
Ray says, I have DirecTV Now on the Apple TV, and I have seen some of the same streaming issues, so I don't think it's a streaming player issue. Yeah, It could be a regional issue, though, because one of the things to remember is there's not one. A lot of these services are streaming. There's no one master server that does everything, right? There could be a server serving the West Coast, a server doing the East Coast, a server doing the South and North, whatever. So let's say the East Coast server is being overwhelmed. They'll try to reroute you to some other servers, but if you're on the West Coast, you may not be having any problems, but the East Coast people may be. So just keep that in mind.
Citra said Cheddar was founded by BuzzFeed's president. That's really interesting. I did not know that.
I don't know if that's correct. I believe that is
do a
not.
little fact checking there. Let me
John,
get out our Apple device and start looking things up.
The president and founder of Cheddar TV, I've had the great privilege of talking to. He's a very nice guy if you ever get to meet him. But I don't think he came from BuzzFeed. But maybe I am wrong. Let me Google this.
What did you say his name was?
John Steinberg.
Yeah, John Steinberg, president of BuzzFeed.
Yeah, he was.
Yep.
The former president. Okay, that's why I'm confused, because he's not the current president of BuzzFeed.
Yep, and then in early 2016, he founded Cheddar.
Yeah. So when did he leave BuzzFeed?
That is a great question. Let me find out.
It may joined while it was still a 50% company.
This just turned into a live stream of us reading things on Google.
Wikipedia is absolutely no help because it doesn't say when he left. It says he took it over in 2010. So he was not the founder of BuzzFeed, but he was the CEO of BuzzFeed. That's probably what threw me off for the thing. So he was.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. He was also the chief executive officer of the dailymail.com North America, which is a very large UK news site. He is quite the interesting person and a very hard-working person if you ever get a chance to meet him.
That sounds good, man.
But we'll jump back into the questions. Luke, where can I go to the web to compare live TV streaming services? Well, we got you covered right here. Let me give you a link to a post with them. I know there's a lot of services out there that will recommend for you different streaming services. Always be careful when you do the ones where you like enter in, I want to know, which one's right for me based on what stations I want. Some of them are very ethical, very good. Some of them I think skew slightly towards ones that make them a profit on it. But
and some of them are just not correct. We found a couple of mistakes on some of them.
Yeah, it may not be that they're skewing it. Maybe skewing it may not be the right word there. Some of the, I think that maybe the database is old on some of the lesser known ones. So just, if you use any of those services, they're a great tool to use. Just be careful to make sure to do your own research too, to make sure it's actually giving you the correct results for what you want. Now, what we do instead of asking you to or telling you what we think you would enjoy, we just posted on our website a complete chart with all the different streaming services and all the different devices they support and all the different channels they offered. So you can look at that. Look at all the different ones out there and make your own decision on what's right for you. Now, we do have affiliate links. We do make money. I'm not going to lie. But I approach it from the method of I'm going to give you the information and let you make the decision rather than me saying, hey, here's the ones to use. So I would always say, hey, if you want to use any of those, I see a lot of people asking, should we use this service or that service? Sure, definitely do it. Take it with a grain of salt, though. Double check to make sure what they're giving you is really the best option for you.
The Blind Family a while ago asked, is Netflix removing any content that has to do with Georgia? And we won't get too political about this whole situation, but yes, there has been some talk of it. I have read a couple of things earlier this week saying that if things don't get straightened out, that they will possibly be changing their plans.
Well, from my understanding, they're not going to remove movies or TV shows. They're just not going to
They're not
film
going to
anything.
keep filming there, right?
Yeah. So it won't remove anything. So, what TV service do you use as a daily driver? Honestly, if it wasn't for Core Cars News, I wouldn't be using a live TV streaming service every day. I may get a service for football season, and I have all of them though. And I'll be honest with you, I've been overall happy with all the services. So my recommendation to you is, if you're looking for a live TV streaming service, really comes down to, do they offer the channels you want? So look at it. If it offers the channels you want, take advantage of the free trial and go from there. If it doesn't offer you the channel you want, then try another one. Because what works for you may be different for me. Because I may be just looking for sports channels, but you may be looking for AMC to watch The Walking Dead. So don't be afraid to shop around and get the one that's right for you.
Yep. Howard says, I just got a Fire TV Cube. It's great, but I have a tough time with the remote. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I love the Fire TV, but we were just having a conversation this morning about how much I loathe the Apple TV remote. So I sympathize with you. I'm not sure. Luke, do you know if there's a different remote that you can use with your Amazon Fire devices?
No, it is the Fire TV remote, which looks something like this. And it's I think when you use it, you get used to it. Now, if you have the Fire TV Cube, you could use the voice commands through the Echo built into the Fire TV Cube and tell your Alexa to go launch an app or start the TV, etc. if you set it up that way. But no, I don't. I mean, there are third-party universal remotes. I believe you could get, for instance, I'm blanking out on the name, a Logitech Harmony remote, universal remote. Kind of pricey though, but that is one option. Go ahead, Jess.
Let's see. Ben asks, Luke, where do I go on your website to compare live TV services? Could you post that link again? I can't get my...
There's a link right there. It's in the Beginner's Guide to Cord Cutting at the very top, where you can find it there. We update it every month. Paul says, any idea why the Tableau quad-core OTA DVR is always sold out? It's been on... waiting list is 2 months. From my understanding, they're selling really, really well for Tableau. They're having a huge success with the quad core. But I also think I know they sell through Amazon or through Best Buy, excuse me. And I believe Best Buy may get first rights on the dibs. But no, the quad core isn't. It's just the dual light. So it doesn't look like the quad core is for sale on Best Buy. It looks like they're just selling more than they thought they would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they even wrote something on their Facebook page about how it was just overwhelming how well it was doing. So, I mean, great for them, not so great for all of us that want to buy it.
Hey, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's saying that they agree with me about the Apple remote. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that support. I don't know, is the podcast going up? Did it go up today or is it going up tomorrow? Yeah, I go on a rant about it for like a solid 5 minutes. So if you want to hear my thoughts about the Apple remote, tune in.
If you want to see Jess's version of what grinds my gears, check in tomorrow.
That's exactly what it was. Next time I'm saying that before I start into my whole... I didn't intend to go on a rampage about how angry I get about the remote, but I sure did.
Will YouTube TV work on the Fire TV in the future? Yes, they say sometime this year YouTube TV will be coming to the Fire TV along with YouTube Kids and YouTube Standard app.
Yeah, and guys, we'll post about it. As soon as we have a date for sure, we will let you know.
Is it true that the Fire TV Stick can be used on a television that's not, the Fire TV Stick 4K can be used on a television that's not 4K? Yes. Same with Roku and Apple TV. Even if it's a 4K stream player, it will downgrade to HD and SD if that's all your TV can do.
Pluto TV is really great now with all the new channels. Yeah, Evan, I was just looking at the Facebook page. I was replying to some comments right before we jumped on to the Q&A. A lot of people were just talking about how great Pluto is. We've all been kind of singing its praises. They've been adding channels since January, and it's awesome. We love Pluto TV.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this a lot recently, but if you haven't tried out not just Pluto TV, but the Roku channel, Zumo, Tubi, Crackle, etc., wow, have they upgraded the quality of content on these services?
Yeah, I've put up a couple of posts recently showing like the top 5 free services on different devices. So definitely check those out. There's some really good stuff.
Yeah, Siri remote is the worst remote. I always says it's kind of a solution looking for a problem. Apple did right there, where they're like, oh, let's just do something Appley, I will call it. And go from
Apple, yeah,
there.
I like that.
Um, Evan, I want to know why. Evan said this. Evan says he has an HD Home 1 and he really regrets buying it. I should have I should have got. I'm assuming it means should have got the Tableau Quad instead. Evan, why don't you like the HD Home Run? A lot of people absolutely love them, so I'd like to know why you don't. Nah, no wrong answers, Evan. Don't worry, I'm not calling you out. I'm interested. Hearing why people don't like things, why people do like things, really helps us.
Mike made a good point. Almost all the streaming platforms have a game controller that works, so that might be an option if you don't like your remote. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, Amazon actually discontinued theirs. They're kind of backing off on gaming a little bit. Maybe it wasn't Amazon. I believe Amazon, but there is also third-party ones. If you can find the Amazon game controller, it's a pretty nice one. I would recommend getting it.
You know what? I'll look into that and maybe put up a post sometime this week about game controllers, using them as remotes.
Somebody discontinued their game controller, and I want to say it was Amazon.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I remember that now that you said it.
Now, though, I'm having second thoughts.
I'll look into it. Hopefully we can get a post up about that soon. Good idea, Mike.
Howard says, I had a hard time opening the Fire TV remote batteries. Yeah, you and a lot of other people. Actually, if you go into click on our YouTube name, click on the videos, there's a little search box that's kind of hidden there, and type in a Fire TV remote batteries or something like that. We actually have a video with like, I think 90,000 views on it, all about how to open your Fire TV battery case, because I know some people had a hard time with it, and I think sometimes they do ship and they're a little difficult to open. Though in the new version, they've updated it and made it a lot easier to do again. So, but it's the Generation 2 remotes that I find are the most difficult to open, and you can find it there.
Robert says Apple TV 3 remote is better than Apple TV 4 remote. I don't even know the difference. I just know that I don't like it, and I won't go into my whole rant all over again. I just don't like it. But that's just me. If it works for you, awesome, great, very happy for you. Doesn't work for me, not a fan.
Yeah, the Apple TV 3 is a lot like the Fire TV remote, actually, with like a circular D-pad almost, more of a traditional remote like a Roku there. So I can't argue that. Can you install a VPN on a Roku Express? You can do it on the server level. Just be careful. A lot of streaming services are cracking down on people using VPNs to try to circumvent geo-locking. So just be careful.
Evan says, Evan, are you responding to Luke's question about why you don't like it? It says, I don't like the fact that you have to buy DVR services when everybody else in the market offers it for free. So is that the problem with the
not
device?
Everybody offers it. Now, Tableau does have a free version of it. Fire TV Recast is free. But Tableau, if you want to get full advantage of the Tableau DVR, there is a monthly fee or a one-time lifetime fee on it. So that's just something to remember with that, too.
Dean says, Fire remote, in my opinion, trumps all remotes. I love that I have started the great debate about which remote is best. I like the Fire remote, too. I'm a fan. I think the Roku remote is pretty easy to use. I'm looking over at my little collection of remotes here. I like the Roku remote. I think it's fine. I think it's just the oversimplified Apple remote that's getting me. Maybe it's just because I keep pressing the wrong button. It's a me problem. It's not an Apple problem.
Hey, we have about 5 more minutes, so get your question in. If I didn't answer it and scrolled by, re-ask it because we may have missed it. But Howard says, will PlayStation Vue be adding Viacom in the NHL network? They very well could. Just remember that, as always, when the more channels you add, the more expensive things get. NYC, thank you greatly for that $2 donation. Any idea when does SpaceX launch their home internet service? They've said late in 2019 or early 2020. They hope to have it launched in North America. And again, thank you.
We talked about that on the podcast a little bit, so tune into the podcast tomorrow. That was the first story that we talked about this week.
Cutting the cord 2 months ago. Best thing I've ever done. Welcome, Danny, to the cord cutting family.
Blind Family says, when are you going to do an update on the Amazon Fire TV recast?
We will be doing a updated video review because we did one when it was first released. Look for a updated one coming very soon.
Let's see what else. YouTube and Philo both have unlimited DVR. Yeah, a lot of the streaming services, I think we were talking about devices and not streaming services. But yeah, YouTube TV, Philo, unlimited DVR. All of them have a decent DVR situation. They have good DVR features. I've been including those. I noticed a lot of you were asking about it. So whenever I do my comparison posts, I've been including DVR stuff, like logging into TV Everywhere apps. I've been including that too. So make sure you're reading those if that's something that you're interested in.
Brandon says, what do you think of the Sprint and T-Mobile merger? I think it's more likely than not going to happen. The markets are very different. The competition is very different. I know currently many of the competitors use Sprint, use T-Mobile, use Verizon or AT&T to launch like Simple Talk or the Comcast one or the whatever out there. But I find with SpaceX launching theirs and other people actually launching original networks, it is becoming more competitive, which makes it more likely that the merger will be announced. Now, I read or saw a story come out that hadn't had a full opportunity to read yet, which basically said the Department FCC has voted or says they will vote to approve this T-Mobile Sprint merger. According to reports, the Department of Justice has said not so fast. They're still not settled. But according to a report I saw from some news organization said the Department of Justice would like T-Mobile and Sprint to try to foster a new fourth competitor out there, where they'll allow it if they can find a fourth service provider to compete in the home phone market. So keep a close eye on this. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen in the world of T-Mobile and Sprint merger. I actually don't think it'd be a bad idea because neither T-Mobile or Sprint really are having much luck competing directly with Verizon and AT&T. Maybe combined, this could create a very nice three-way race. Maybe with SpaceX and Amazon getting into internet from space could effectively also be used for a phone service, which is kind of a dark horse thing there, which could be cool. We'll wait and see what happens.
Thank you for everyone for the compliments.
Yeah, thank you.
Lisa says, best YouTube channel I found. That's awesome. Evan says, cord cutters rule. Thank you so much. And Chris says, congrats on 71K subscriptions. Yeah, thank you. We're super excited about how fast we're growing. If you haven't already subscribed, do it.
Yeah, 100K, here we come.
Yeah.
I want the plaque, and then we're just going to shut down I'm kidding. No.
Yeah.
Well,
no, we have to get enough that I can get a plaque too.
There you go.
So.
You know, what's very interesting is, we joke, but I really do love running Cord Cutters News. And we're going to kind of wrap this up here in a few minutes. We'll take a couple more questions if you want to throw one out. But, I was talking to some people. I was reading something on YouTube about things poor people do to save money. And I lived very poor. The reason I cut the cord is my wife and I were poor college students. We just had a kid, and we're like, we got to save money. We got car payment. We have a kid, which is expensive alone. That's basically a monthly car payment there. And student loans and all the other stuff. And my real hope here is that we can help a lot of people save money and help them have a better life in doing it. I think it was Sam Walton said if we can save people's money, we can change their life or something like that. There's a pretty famous Sam Walton quote around that. So I really hope, as we joke around, we try to answer your questions about how to watch TV. I really do hope that we're helping you save some money that you can use for, like my wife and I did, to pay off some credit cards, to, put towards a car payment, to put towards college student loans and more, so that maybe you don't feel like you're quite as financially stressed. It's one of the biggest stresses in one of the biggest reasons people get divorces. So I really, really do hope that we're helping people when we do joke around about, 100K or anything. So thank you to everybody for your support. Thank you to everybody who spreads the word. Hopefully somebody you've maybe shared our website with or shared cord cutting, even if they didn't learn it from our website, was able to save some money and improve their life. Even, it's always funny when I talk to cable executives and they say, oh, all you're doing is saving, $40, $60. What does it matter? $60 here for TV, who cares? For a lot of people, $60 out there, that could be gas in their tank when they need it, food on the table. I often am surprised how disconnected a lot of cable executives are about the fact that, Okay, a couple $100 for you is nothing. For a lot of people, $60 is the difference between food on the table and not.
Yep.
So that's a rant. Sorry, sidetrack.
Your rant was a lot nicer than my rant. Also, we love hearing your stories about how much money you save. So always feel free to email or send us a message or write on the Facebook page. We love hearing it. I have a question I can answer. Wait, where did it go?
You look for that, and I'll answer one from Lester here.
Okay.
It says, looking for the best 128 gigabyte flash drive, adaptive storage for NVIDIA Shield. I don't have a best one. I would shop around on Amazon a little bit, look at the reviews. The one thing though is if you're looking to use the flash, the storage for a DVR, I would actually recommend you get an external hard drive. Some DVRs do not support flash drives for recording shows. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking to use it to store media, get an external hard drive versus a flash stick.
Chris says $60 a month adds up fast, and Al says I'll take all the 60s he wants to throw out. Yeah, completely. I think that that's something that's really important to us, and it's a reason that I was really happy to join Luke at Cord Cutters News. I just love the whole mission of helping people, and we want everyone to save money. Yeah, $60 doesn't seem like much when you're making millions, but I mean, for us regular people, yeah, it's a lot of money, and it does really add up, and we are more than happy to help you all save that every month.
Hey, $60 over 5 years is over $3,600.
That's too much math for me, but yes, I agree.
I cheated. I used the calculator on the computer. But that's a down payment towards a car. That's an emergency car repair when something breaks. Absolutely. So just really keep that in mind.
Evan asked if we're excited about the Disney streaming service, and heck yes, I am. I am so excited. We haven't talked about it a whole lot today, but we have been talking about it. I am really looking forward to it, especially after watching the Disney event where they talked about the new shows and things. I'm super excited.
I have never heard from so many of our readers be so excited about a new streaming service. So,
oh my gosh, and there's a bug flying in front of my camera. Sorry about that.
Of all the services out there, I think that is the one that's most likely one of the new ones to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. We've heard so many people talk about it, and I think that's because it really appeals to such a wide range of people. I mean, it's not just for kids. They have like the Marvel stuff for that group of people. They have a lot of like family friendly. They have stuff that adults are going to like, and kids. I think it's just a really well-rounded service.
So we're going to wrap this up. I see somebody asking what's our blog. Well, we're cordcarsnews.com, which is the same as the user, the name here on YouTube. I just put a link to it in the show notes. Again, you can see how far behind we are. But just want to say thank you to Jess. So the goal here is I'll do most of these Q&As, and maybe Jess will join us every now and then. But that starting my next big vacation, when that comes up, Jess will be able to be here to fill in, so we don't have to do the whole we're going to miss a week. Now, we will from time to time, probably Christmas and different ones, probably miss a week of the Q&A here and there. But Jess is going to also be joining us to keep these Q&As running. So we're here. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button because we're here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for about an hour. We're also every weekday, Monday through Friday, we post a Cord Cutting Today video recapping all the biggest news from the past week. And on Saturday, we do a big weekly recap of all the biggest stories from the past week. The daily ones are from the past 24 hours, excuse me. So, Jess, hey, thanks for coming on and helping me answer questions.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys. It was fun chatting with you all tonight.
Check back tomorrow for our Cord Cutting Today and the podcast going live tomorrow afternoon. So, Jess's blog is cordcarsnews.com.
Yep.
She writes over for cordcarsnews.com, the news organization. You can join her and all of our content over there. So, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic night. We will talk to you tomorrow. I'm going to quickly play a 15-second ad. If you can, stay on, watch it if you see it, because it helps us pay the bills so I can pay Jess.
Thanks.
How much is Disney Plus going to be? That's going to be $6.99. But they have talked about hinting that there will be a cheaper yearly plan, I believe they've said too.
And potentially bundling packages, so that could be a discount too. Evan says we are all kids inside. I agree. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm turning 33. I still act like a kid. I like it.
Well, happy birthday, Jess.
Thanks.
So, all right. Well, we're waiting for this ad to finish off. There we go. So I hope everybody has a fantastic night. Happy birthday, Jess. We will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to watch the podcast tomorrow, not only the Daily Show.
Bye, guys.